1917, 1947 for Jack Kerouac, who was there. A straight line drawn across the years of artistic growth is not as the crow flies, but a nexus of development. So far as it goes, there is no straight line, but the accretion of experience and the many twists and turns one takes to gain and measure the sizes and shapes of activity and its transformation into song or verse. The flight through geography and human material, flesh and circumstance, to bring a Charlie Parker from Kansas City to Chicago, New York, Dan Wall's Chili House, Minton's Playhouse in Harlem, a gig in a taxi dance hall downtown, the particularities of experience, to be in one place at one and the same time. Whoops, where the fuck is this? Oh. Other Syrah, South Carolina, to Philadelphia, PA, like a John Burke Gillespie said, if you don't know why they call me Dizzy, you don't know me very well. From Philly to New York, in the Teddy Hill Orchestra, and Cab Calloway and Duke, and such other aggregations as would have him for a week or a month. The constant fellowship of musicians, riding on buses through the long American nights, talking, gambling, eating together, and the burning inside to make a change in the music, to enlarge it so that it would encompass their enormity of intelligence, the recognition and joy, the great leap of the heart to encounter another spirit presence in the same mold of identical form, like from Rocky Mount, North Carolina, to New York City and back out on the road with a faith healer and a medicine show, playing for the shake dancers and pitchmen and snake oil sellers all across the South and the Midwest. A gig with Cootie Williams and his orchestra at the Savoy Ballroom. The choice of Kenny Clark and Joe Guy for the house band after hours at Minton's Playhouse in Harlem, where Monk would meet Bird and Dizzy and Charlie Christian and the rest of the cats and play past dawn until their music established itself. And they were the pick of the greatest of the band leaders, Earl Father Hines, Billy Eckstein, and in Monk's case, the father of the tenor saxophone, Coleman Hawkins, and a first recording for Victor, October 19, 1944. Before Hawk cut I Mean You, 2 years later, and Monk and Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie put it all together, click, on the stage of the Spotlight Club in the summer of 1946. The magnificent Dizzy Gillespie Orchestra with arrangements by Tad Dameron and Gil Fuller. Let us now hail the author of the 52nd Street theme, the pace setter for the modern sound, a singular individual, a giant among giants, a man of whom it can be said there has never been another even remotely to resemble him. A twister and shaper of rhythm and rhyme, and a maker of musical works which have bent and altered the course of modern life. O Thelonious, We salute you at the outset of your career. We are eager to receive your magic as it flows into the grooves of master recording discs of 1947. We would have your songs and improvisations restructure the insides of our heads and our hearts to see out through the eyes which have seen what you have seen, and to hear through the ears which have no peers. Oh, Monk, if you please, now grace us with your incredible music. Yeah. Okay, this is called Bloom Dito. It's for my friend, mentor, and comrade, the late great Amiri Baraka. In the beginning of the modern era, in Harlem, in the early days of the new music, in the days of war, when Bird and Diz and Monk made it all start to happen. In Harlem, late at night, the music hit hard and deep. Monk and Bird and Dizzy turned it all around and made it fit what was happening in New York City. The war, the sound of modern city life in Harlem or in Midtown, downtown. Monk and Bird and Dizzy made the music fit. They made it fit. They made the music come to life. They made life come to the music. They made it bloom. Bloom Dito. Bloom Dito. Bloom Diddy. Bop, bop, bop. They made it bloom like a gigantic flower or millions of flowers in a magnificent garden. Bop! They gave it life and made it bloom. Dito. Bop! And great flowers emerged in the middle of the night. They made it bloom. They gave it life. They made it all happen at once.
Yeah.
True that. Okay, this is a title track called Thelonious, dedicated to the proprietors of Blue Note Records, Alfred Lyon and Frank Wolf. The Lion and the Wolf. Great names for the proprietors of a record company. But today, my dear friend Don Was is the president of Blue Note Records. On the 15th of October, 1947, 5 days following his 30th birthday, Thelonious Sphere Monk was blessed with his first recording session as a leader for Blue Note Records. Wow. The genius of modern music, prophet of bebop, progenitor of modern jazz, born in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and bred in the jungles, West 63rd Street, New York City, where the piano players were Kings and James P. Johnson, Willie the Lion Smith, and numerous of others populated the neighborhood both night and day. Before blacks took over Harlem and moved even further north, this was the place where the music was in New York City. Just a few square blocks off to the side, dense with Negroes from the East Coast and the South, not Mississippi, but Atlanta, Charleston, Savannah. the piney woods and tobacco country and Virginia. 60 years after slavery was abolished, 300 years after Jamestown unloaded slaves shipped from West Africa, strangers in a strange land. Thelonious Monk was brought to Manhattan as an infant and began his piano lessons at age 6, 1923, surrounded by genius and the beautifully evolved culture of Africans in America. Amen. This isn't too much, is it?
No.
Keep going?
Yeah.
Please. It's a beautiful Monk ballad. His best known number called Round About Midnight. And dedicated to my old friend named Linda Jones. There is a point between night and day where it all comes clear and bright. A new beginning where yesterday can be left behind and a new day is there to greet us, clean with promise and a clear path through the hours before dawn. When the mind kicks in, the squares all tucked in bed, and the people of the night in charge of the scene, players, musicians, whores, countermen at diners and cabs delivering the morning papers, garbage men and cops and drunks, in the rhythms of midnight and the small hours after. A different sphere completely from daytime traffic and the peculiar world of commerce. This is when the music is made in nightclubs until 2 or 4 a.m. And then an after hours joint in people's cribs or in the recording studios after the gig with everyone nice and relaxed, half juiced or hazy, lazy, a little crazy maybe, but ready to put down some tunes onto recording discs or tape for the rest of the world to hear. Around midnight and after the end of a day, or in the metaphorical mode, it's the last sigh of an era, like around 1939 through 44, with the war going on abroad and the nation finally tearing itself loose from the last dying grip of pre-modern America. All its young men at war, and only the rejects, misfits, and draft dodgers left to shape some new form from the ruins of the past. Some measure their alienation from the day before, their allegiance to the flag of tomorrow, like whatever it might bring would be better than what's happening right now. The high discovery of risk, or the existential premise that something new and brilliant can be made from the existing materials. The intention to create and invent on little jobs that Monk spoke of in 1948, with no reward but the beauty of the thing itself. The challenge of invention with no idea of what might come next, no pattern to fall back on, nothing but the driving force inside yourself and the long roots of culture stretching back to West Africa and the southern United States. The utter and absolute beauty of making a bridge across the years to link the past in a whole new way with what would come next. Round about midnight of a dying world, and round about 3 a.m. of a brand new day. Monk at the piano, composing the future, and Bud Powell taking the piece to Cootie Williams to record 1944. A standard of modern music, even before its composer could record it. The loveliest work in modern jazz at just over 3 minutes long, yet longer than tomorrow, longer than the 45 years since Monk eased it out of his head and his gargantuan heart and gave it to us round about midnight as a sign that something was coming that had never been here before. I love that piece.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me read a couple of love poems here, if I can find. Oh no, I want to give you this one first. I'm not going too long?
No, keep going.
Like last night, there was a bunch of people on the bill, you just don't want to go on too long, you know. They're already tired. This is called Monk's Dream. It's dedicated to Tyree and Karen Guyton and Sam Mackey. And when I wrote this poem, I didn't realize it, but the first stanza rhymes with the melody of the song, so I sing the first part. If you'll excuse me. I ain't no motherfucking singer, believe me. In the middle of the night, on the east side of Detroit, off behind Mack and Gratiot, on Heidelberg Street. In the middle of the night, on the east side of Detroit, off behind Mack and Gratiot, on Heidelberg Street, where a lot of old houses be burnt out or just falling apart, and big weeds be growing up where there used to be houses on Heidelberg Street in the middle of the night, when the moon is high in the sky, and people would be asleep in their beds, dreaming of new refrigerators full of groceries for their babies, and maybe a new car outside, or a number they can hit tomorrow. Put it in a box, drag a bunch of boxes out in the vacant lot across the street, and pile them up on top of one another, paint them all different colors, hang a pink bicycle up in a tree, painted polka dot, nail some old plastic doll bodies, and maybe some road signs up on the front porch next door where the people been gone so long, and stick in a telephone booth, put a television on the porch roof, and change the channel once or twice. Whoa. Okay. A toy airplane in a bird cage on the top of the house. Some plastic legs sticking out the front window. All different colors of paint and objects of every description stuck or nailed on somehow all over the abandoned house. Sometimes a thing just needs some stripes, says Grandpa 91, who can see the things that maybe we can't in the middle of the night. Like the doll in the attic window. She's reaching out for help. And the line of doors in the field on the other side of the street, they came from houses that used to be here They came from old refrigerators and wrecked taxi cabs. They're standing there, cocked every which way. And down on the corner of Ellery, they got 3 big old vacant lots. One got a raggedy boat in it, full of junk tires. One got a pile of oil drums, painted up in bright colors. The other one's got more doors, all lined up in a row. Like Tyrese said, there are so many openings in life, you just have to pick the right one. The music comes up in the background out of a little speaker on the radio by the porch. It's Thelonious with Charlie Rouse, Monk's Dream. And the people's indoors sleeping turn over in their beds, a smile on their faces. They know in their dreams it's just Tyree and Karen and Grandpa out there on Heidelberg Street in the middle of the night, turning their neighborhood inside out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard of the Heidelberg Project, but that's a artwork on the east side of Detroit. My pal Tyree Guyton created this thing out of destroyed houses. They hated it so much in Detroit, they tore down 2 whole blocks worth of it. Fucking numbskulls around the city. Tyree's now known all over the world for being a brilliant artist. They hate him in Detroit. Fuck them. Okay, this is for my wife Penny when I was courting her way back in the early 80s. It's called I Surrender, Dear. I don't know if you ever heard the monk version of that, but it's just the most brilliant reading of someone else's material that you could possibly imagine. I don't do it any kind of justice at all. But I like this poem nonetheless. No matter what I might do to get you off my mind, you just won't leave the premises. And I don't know how to make it any clearer. You've been gone so long, but I should be done got over you by now. But no, there you are, in every motherfucking song that enters my brain. Every day, I want to call you on the phone and tell you I love you in so many words like that. I can't live without you. Let's get back together. I want to marry you and stay with you for the rest of my life. Let's move to New Orleans and leave this place behind. I'll be true to you like I was so long when we were together. I don't want no one else as long as I have you. These are the words I wish I could say, but my pride and the hard times we had make me hold my tongue. When you put me out, I swore there'd be no more going back. And I've been trying to make it without you so long that it's driving me crazy. No buts and no maybes. Do you want me back? Can you live without me? Shouldn't we be together? Can't we just swallow our foolish pride and stop questioning everything and face the facts for real? You and me together, baby, always you and me. I surrender, dear.
Yeah.